Hi, and welcome back to the Sanilac Flashlight. After the arraignment of Mr. Jewell today, I was tipped off to interview two women, mother and daughter Louisa and Sarah Hernandez, respectively. These women have both had negative run-ins with the residents of the House of Hope homeless shelter. Louisa tells us that on the morning of the attack at the thrift store, there was another incident involving an attack on one of the shelter's residents by at least one other resident of the shelter. If true, this begs the question, how many crimes have occurred at or because of the shelter that Chief Lester has left completely unreported? Louisa's daughter, Sarah, has a personal protection order out on one of the shelter's residents as well, after one of them continually stalked and harassed her at her job. Let's listen to their stories. Okay, so can you guys just introduce yourselves real quick?
Hi, my name's Louisa Hernandez.
And I am Sarah Hernandez.
So, can you guys tell me what your experience has been with the Michigan House of Hope shelter and just what you've dealt with personally?
I personally dealt with somebody coming into my workplace that lived there. From what I know, this person is apparently schizophrenic and wasn't on medication, but I didn't know that at the fact, But he would come in and try to get me to give him items from my place of work, and I tell him, no, you don't have any money, please leave. And the same person, one time while I was walking from work home, had approached me and started yelling and screaming and calling me names. I had a bag with a sandwich in it, and he's calling me a liar, saying that, oh, you just didn't want to give me food. And I was just like, you know what, dude, like, get away from me, please. And I was telling my boss, like, hey, this person's harassing me in here. And honestly, my boss kept telling me they're harmless, they're not going to do anything. And there was another incident one night walking home from work. I closed up, and he started following me home. I even tried going every which way different possible, and he was still behind me. And I ended up going in a speedy queue. And I told him, hey, this guy's following me. Like, I just don't feel safe going home. And they had seen him at the end of the road and said, oh yeah, the cops were just looking for that guy. So they called the police, and they asked me what he looked like and what he was wearing, and I said, yeah, that's the same person. They ended up giving me a ride home. And it got very mentally draining for me. I suffer from PTSD, so it brought a lot of flashbacks and mental problems that I couldn't leave my home. I was having lots of problems because my boss wasn't listening to me at work. And I ended up calling the cops another time because he came in 3 different times that day. Came in asking if we did money orders. I said no. And then he came again saying that he had winning lottery tickets behind the counter, and I was like, no, you don't. I was like, please leave. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be around me. My boss, like, I don't want you near me. And I called the cops. I called my boss. The cops came. They took a report, and I had gone to my therapist at CMH. And she told me that anytime he comes in, call the cop. Call the cops. So I started doing that. And my boss wouldn't do a no trespassing against him. And CMH was trying to help me figure out how to get a personal protection order with him. And so I took it upon myself to go to the county clerk's office. And they told me in order to obtain a personal protection order that I had to have an address for this person. And I told them, well, he's living in the homeless shelter. They said that's not going to do any good. So he came in one last time at the store. I've called the cops plenty of times, and they've only came maybe a handful of times. Sometimes they never came. But I had one officer finally tell me, I know who this person is, I know what his name is, and he gave me the information. And he said, if you need anybody to serve a PPO for you, then he'll do it, because he knows exactly where this person stays. and where he is around town, which is mostly like around the park. And I took that again. They tried telling me again that they couldn't do it because he doesn't have an address.
Who told you this?
The city clerk's or the county clerk's office.
The county clerk's office told you this because he doesn't have an address.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told them no. This officer, I gave her their name, told me that he would serve it to him personally. And that all I would have to do is have a judge sign it and say it's approved. And she kind of looked at me very hesitant, and I was like, I can promise you this is exactly what this officer told me. He was a Sandusky police officer. And it finally went through. They granted me that, and I ended up going back, taking the personal protection order that was granted to the Sandusky police station. And that night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, they called me the next morning and said that they served him.
Okay.
Yeah, this went on for months. This was from like January to June.
Of what year?
This year, 2023.
Is he still at the shelter?
I'm not sure. Since I've had the PPO, I haven't seen him.
What's his name?
You have the paper.
It's either he's not there and staying with family who lives here now, but his name is Joseph Joshua Leal.
Okay. So you've had this personal protection order out for how long now?
This one's been, the date is, granted was 6/7/23.
6/7/23. Okay, wow.
And in my report of the incidents, it started January 4th.
Okay. All right.
And I actually do have the officer's name in here.
Okay. What is the name?
Officer Streisenreiter.
Streisenreiter. Okay.
He is the one that actually personally took it upon himself to make sure that Joseph got this.
Mm-hmm. So what else should I know?
So, the incident of the morning, the same day, the incident of that little girl.
Yep.
I go to work at 5:30 in the morning. I walk. I don't have a vehicle.
Where do you work?
I work cleaning Chase Bank
Okay.
on Dawson Street.
Okay.
So I was walking to work that morning, and the bus, little place where they pick up people from.
Yep.
Well, it was dark that morning, and I heard, when I was walking, a man started yelling, "Ma'am, can you please help me? Please help me. I just, was beat up at a men's shelter." And I figured maybe he came from out of town or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, "Well, there's one down here at this street." And he goes, "That's where I just got beat up from. I had to run out of there." I said, "Well, all I can do is tell you, sir, to go to the sheriff's office."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he did or not, but either or, that day, I had to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to approach a man in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a female.
Sure.
And like I said, I almost got kidnapped when I was 12 years old. So that fear sticks with me, too.
Mm-hmm.
So that day, I was walking my dog, and I did not know anything about this situation at all.
Mm-hmm.
I seen the police officer down there at the men's shelter. So I thought, you know what, because it bugged me all day. I'm wondering if this man got help or what.
Yeah.
So I approached the officer and I said, "Officer, can I talk to you about my morning?" And it's about, to do with somebody that was in here in this shelter, that got beat up inside this shelter this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And he apparently ran out. And he approached me, and I had told him to go to the sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know the situation. So I explained, like I said, the man told me what happened. I let the officer know, and he says, okay, I'll have to let this situation be known also, but please don't judge. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, don't judge what?
He said, please don't judge?
Yeah. And I'm like, don't judge what? I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
And apparently that's why they were there, was because of the incident. I didn't know.
The incident of violence, not the incident regarding the girl.
Exactly.
So this guy claimed that he got beat up at the shelter that morning.
Yes.
And
same exact day.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, do you remember, was the police officer you spoke to and told about your morning incident, was that Brett Lester?
I do not know who it was. I do not know the cops' names in this town.
Do you remember the face?
He was a city.
Yeah, he was Sandusky City
like
Police.
a younger person.
How younger?
I would say like in his 40s.
Okay. Let's just take a quick peek here real quick.
But I know the other two because they're heavier set. No, I'm not being offensive or anything, but they were heavier set. But this one was fit.
Sure.
Yeah, he was a younger one. He drove the
truck?
He didn't drive the truck. He drove the SUV that day. It was very dark, all the windows, and it was all black.
Seems that Brett Lester has also blocked me on Facebook.
Oh.
Poop. That's sad.
Wow.
Another burned bridge.
What?
So you told the police officer that you told the police officer that this incident happened, and the police officer said, "Don't judge."
Yeah, and he walked in when he said that to me. So me and my dog, we just took off walking. So I didn't know what the situation was going on at the time, at all.
Yeah.
So now I was like, telling my daughter, I don't get, why would he say don't judge? Don't judge what? I didn't get it.
It's a good question.
Don't judge what?
Yeah. Very strange.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of really hard because I've been here. I came here from a very, very bad situation. I came here to get help.
Yeah.
And she is the only one willing to help me, so that's why I'm here. And I go through CMH, and just the situation alone there, with everything else that I have going on in my life, it caused me to have a very bad breakdown. I ended up leaving my job because I was done with it. Mentally, I couldn't even leave my apartment. She would have to come over and help me.
At least get out.
You deal with a lot of bad people. It's kind of hard to face the world sometimes.
It is.
No, for
but,
sure.
I was gonna say, jeez. I was gonna say something so important. Oh, rules of a shelter.
Yeah.
I know them. I've been in them.
Yeah.
I cannot go into a shelter anymore in my lifetime because I have a domestic violence charge.
Sure.
Which was in defense. But that there, I can never step into a women's shelter ever again in my life. So I don't understand how this guy was already in trouble in Saginaw for his situation. I don't understand how come they didn't check his background. They will do mine.
You see, the
and
problem is even where I was working at, right across the street from the courthouse, people get let out there, and they come into my store asking to use the phone because they don't have
cell phones.
They give them checks. They come over to try to get checks cashed. We don't cash checks. They don't give them cash. They don't give them the chance to call anybody to come pick them up, so they're stuck here.
Yeah.
And And
I'm hearing that they're doing a drug rehabilitation center.
Yeah, that's going to be right across.
No, and they want to bring people from Port Huron here.
No.
And my thought is they can't even help the people here. Why bring in other people?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions right now.
And there is exactly what I got away from in Port Huron. I used to do drugs. I'm done with that. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm done with that. And I don't know. They need to check these people out better here. They really do.
I would agree.
See, we're here because we're getting away from all that.
And I'm actually here to try to get help. I've been in therapy and CMH for a year now. It's been helping, but also with everything else going on, like it's the only thing that's been keeping me going.
And the same thing for me here too. Also, I get help. I'm in therapy and everything. I was in a very abusive marriage and abusive lifetime. Actually, this is my first time I have peace.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel my peace is being violated with these people coming here. Example, that park right there by the shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is?
I
mean, it's so close to the schools too. Like.
It was actually put there by the school. The school paid to put the park next to the shelter.
And that's crazy because I've seen a man out there violently talking to himself, hitting himself, yelling obscenities while these people across the street at the that center there?
Yeah.
Watching them. They're elderly. Of course it's gonna scare them. I mean, and he's praying and all, crazy. And I'm thinking, why are they letting these people walk around?
Because they're people that do need help. It's just they're not getting the help they need, even though it's right in front of them.
It seems to be more of a money making scam.
It is
really,
very much a money making.
because they want their disability checks. They want as much money, and I've got another woman to interview who said her son was there for a little while, and essentially told her that they took a bunch of his money and just kicked him out. It's just,
and it's terrible. That's not
run
right.
by the church, correct?
Because there's people that really need help.
It's run by Open Door Missionary Church.
Right.
Yeah.
And people do need help. We're not discriminating against it, but
they should probably be outside of the town, like outside.
To me, no.
If they severely need help, they should be in psychiatric wards.
To me,
to get the help that they actually need. I've been there.
Me too. To me, they need to do background checks 100% before they let anybody here in these doors or in this town. Because it's causing us danger.
And it's so silent. Look, you don't really see much about even the situation for the child. We went to a protest the other day.
Yes, we did.
We were the only ones from the community here.
Yes.
There. And it's like, what's
I jumped
going on?
I called my daughter. Let's do this.
Yeah.
We were waiting for that. Just to help the little girl out. Because we know how she feels.
No child should have to go through that.
None.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of concern given to the child or children in general. Like it's really just a matter of time before this happens to somebody else's child.
It's like, you know what? I grew up learning and taught that it takes a village to raise a child. Why are we not watching over our own children here? Like nobody's watching their own children. I walk home at 11 o'clock at night from work and I see children running the streets. And I'm like, why aren't you at home? Like, it's 11 o'clock at night on a school night.
Truth.
But the thing is, the rule should be, like it is pertained to me, to check the records, background check these people, no matter what. To be safe.
No, for sure.
If they would have done that, this incident wouldn't happen. Come on, this is a wake-up call for this community. What more else are we going to have to handle here? I don't want to see anymore.
It seems like we're in the normalization phase of the whole globalist, whatever sort of agenda you want to call it. They want us to get used to the idea that there are drug addicts and there are pedophiles just roaming the neighborhood.
Right.
And that's not normal.
No, it's not really normal. Shouldn't be, but yeah. that's where we are, I guess. But do you ladies have anything else you need to add as far as? Sorry that you had to go through that. It's really
It's mentally exhausting, but you know what? I'm still here.
yeah.
Like
Just
I
like
said,
those little
we're
girls, they were able to
victims
use their
ourselves.
voice. And that is a big step.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to voice.
For somebody. 'Cause
No, for sure.
We're victims ourselves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we know how it feels. And I feel for this girl bad. I wish I could.
The world is lacking
Hug her.
empathy.
Yeah, I would agree. I would very much agree. Anyways, I want to thank you ladies for your time today. I appreciate you having me in your home.
You're welcome.
So, more troubling testimony about what citizens of Sandusky have to endure at the hands of the House of Hope homeless shelter. If this doesn't sound like what you want out of living in Sandusky, consider attending the next Sandusky City Council meeting. Until next time, go with God and walk in the light of truth. Thank you.